I'd like to throw my question to Mr. Kish first. So we know that you are really a veteran when it comes to doing business between Taiwan and India. You've already spent like 40 years, more than 40 years here in Taiwan. So can you give us some tips or reminders when we are trying to do business together, from Taiwan to India or Indian to Taiwan, either cultural or business-wise? Yeah, please, floor is yours.
Well, all my Taiwanese friends, they always call me Taiwanese born in India because 40 years in Taiwan and 30 years in India. So I have more knowledge about Taiwan, not in India. Anyway, what problems I find, the basic problem of Taiwan and India are, of course, the cultural thinking, attitudes. Different countries have their different things and all that. But once you want to enter into the business, the understanding and cooperation is the most important thing. The understanding lies when you communicate with each other, and if you don't understand each other, then it creates a problem. Doing business is like a marriage. In a marriage also, if you are not compromising or telling with your partner, there are always problems. So it is always better to understand each other. The biggest problem is Chinese grammar and the English grammar are two different ways. So when Chinese people try to speak English, they try to translate the Chinese way into English, which is not correct. And once the language is not correct, the understanding is not correct. So when the understanding is a problem, doing business becomes a little difficult. Second biggest problem of Taiwan is that Taiwanese people are very polite, very humble. Whenever you talk to them, even if they don't understand, they say yes, they understand. When you don't understand and if you don't clarify the things goes second level, and you still are in bigger problem. So it is better, please, if you don't understand, do the think twice before talking to each other. To solve this particular problem, I had spoken to Dennis, who is the president of FCCI, that these are the main problems and all that. What he did, that he went to India, he opened the office in India, where he invited all Indians to the class, training class, how to work in Taiwanese companies. In the same way, if the government can have this kind of an institution in Taiwan and in India, so that the people are know what is the culture and what is the language. That becomes more easier. Once the basic thing is clear, second thing comes, when you do a business, it always depends upon your price. If the price is not workable, the business is very difficult. So Taiwan presently is on the very high tech. And of course, I don't expect Taiwan people to go lower and all that. But to capture a big market like India, you have to compromise some kind of a quality, reasonably good quality, so that you can meet the price and you can sell the things and all that. For this, the best way is either go to India or do the joint collaborations. That is the only thing you can be successful in doing business with India.
Yeah, this is actually led to my next question to Dr. Fred Chen. So I know that we all know that in Taiwan, we're known for our supply chain power. And you've been working with Taiwan factories for so many years. And you also throw a light on the business model on what's your ideal model to work with the Indian local partners. So can you tell us more about that? And do you have any successful story working with Indian partners already to share with us?
Yeah, the previous presentation talked about the Indian market and the opportunity, and then our company's partnership program, that's a strategy. That the way we see it is that the Taiwan, in the whole, Taiwan is very rich, especially in the e-scooter industry. Taiwan is very strong in the technology-wise because we started 30-some years ago, and we are very strong in the electronics, which is a key part of these e-scooters. So taking these technology and design experiences, we like to work with someone over in India area that has the traditional experience in terms of making a gas-powered scooters. And then join together, we should be able to do a good market penetration to gaining the market share over there. Again, we do have one, initially we have one customer that working with us under this kind of program. And then as my previous guest talking about here is that the tax, the import tax from Taiwan into India suddenly become a problem. Even just to send some sample over there is an issue, not to mention that try to send a design reference e-scooter over there. It's suddenly become very, very expensive. So we have to knock down everything, and even with a knockdown into a component level, the import tax is still pretty high. It's 15% or something. Okay. As compared to they getting from the mainland China, which is at a lot lower cost. So we are facing this trading barrier, not just the technology-wise, but it's also some legality issues on the trading. So the way we see it is to having a good partner over in India is eventually we would like to work with this partner, maybe setting up factory directly over there. So everything could meet the so-called local made or very high local made content to meet the India's government standard. And then we could work with our partner together to gain the business success. Okay. So that's kind of summary what we are today.
Yeah, thank you, Fred. And actually, it reminds my last private conversation with Kish. Kish also mentioned about the tax issue. Tax is really a barrier. So yeah, thank you so much. So actually, I believe that Amir is calling for a local partner there in India. So if you know anyone that could be a perfect fit for this opportunity, feel free to contact Fred after this event. So yeah, we have.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, we have another representative from Taiwan to share with us. So we know that when we talk about technology, it is universal, but doing like business in different geographies is not alike. So we know that UBIC's doing so well in the US and in Japan, and we know from your previous presentation that you're having a big move here in India, like expanding your business to India in this year. So, and we also know that you've already done so many like market research on Indian market. So can you share with us when you are entering a new market, how you like set up your strategy? And do you have any because you already have very good experience there. So can you please share with us if there's any challenge or a lesson learned that worth to share with us? And in your opinion, what would be a key to success for the people who want to enter Indian market? Please.
Okay, thank you. So many people may think that nowadays internet, you can find any information on internet. Yeah, that's just partially true, because it really depends on the market that you're trying to get into. So in our point of view, we think that there are certain markets in the world that after you do online surveys, study, research, you still need to have some local resource to verify, to check if your study outcome is really true, right? So, and we identify that India is like actually one of these kind of markets. So we have people in India for, I think, almost 2 years, and we've been looking at the market and actually trying to do something there. But as I mentioned, late last year, we decided to reach out to the government. So, and luckily we got the Bureau of Foreign Trade support and also TAITRA support. TAITRA stands for Taiwan External Trade Development Center, although I don't know how those words come together with TAITRA. So we got actually huge support from TAITRA. So TAITRA people, TAITRA staff in India, they actually helped us to talk to reach to the companies or even government officials that we want to reach out to. But of course, before that, we did our study, we think pretty well, because the TAITRA people told us that many Taiwan companies reach out to TAITRA. When they reach out to TAITRA, they always say, oh, okay, I want to get into, for example, India or Indonesia. So what can I do? So just such a big open question. But when we talk to TAITRA, we told them clearly that, okay, after our study, we want to talk to like these 2 companies. We want to reach out to these 2 government departments. So can you please help us? So actually TAITRA then feel that, oh, actually, this company already did their homework. So yeah, we can really provide support to them. And also they have a much better idea because they only have people there and they of course have certain connections, but they don't know all the industries. Of course, they don't know every company. So actually, there are a lot of resources like this. And actually, after getting support from TAITRA, we just learned that, oh, actually, Taipei Computer Association, TCA, actually, they also have very good resources in India. But yeah, luckily, we don't need to use that yet. But maybe, who knows, someday, yeah, we may need help from TCA. So I think getting to a new market, at least, especially for small companies, startups, we have very limited resources, so we really need to leverage all existing resources available. And before reaching out for help, maybe try our best to do our homework, do our own research well. I think that's probably it. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. It's time to hear some aspect from India. So Prerna, thanks for waiting us. And but I know that you've been sharing so much on your presentation, but we know that India is really a land of opportunities, and you've been also hear about the 2 Taiwan companies sharing as well. So if you are asked to give a one-on-one suggestion to these 2 companies, what would you say? And can you give our Taiwanese companies who want to go into India market, but concerning the cultural difference? And because we're a little bit run out of time, so we'll just speed up all the process after. Yeah, thank you. Prerna, please.
Sure. Thank you so much for the question. I've been hearing what the Taiwanese companies are saying, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. So what Thomas said about how they've been able to approach and target the Indian market is exceptional. I'll just make very quick 4 points. The first important aspect of investing in India is knowing the Indian market. I'll give you a very straight example of General Motors. General Motors came to India from US. They brought a US product to India not knowing what India needed. And that is why they were not successful in the country. They had to eventually leave. It is very essential to understand, and I understand this was actually mentioned by a fellow panelist as well. It is essential to understand that India is a developing nation. For us, even when we do tenders, pricing is the most important aspect. We are not in a position like Taiwan or European countries wherein our criteria for determining becomes quality, which is why it is essential to adapt and reform your product to make sure it fits the Indian ecosystem. Point number 2 that I want to make is, while I completely understand and appreciate that there are a lot of cultural differences that continue to exist, while I think when we're talking about business, we're becoming a global market. The entire world has become a single market. So it's important, of course, to then use what are the platforms that are available to at least get an entry into the country. I really like what Thomas said, and I think it's a brilliant approach to do your homework and then use associations. But for a lot of companies who don't even know what is it that India has to offer, Thomas in his presentation was talking about the huge demand for smart meters. We are looking at 250 million smart meters by 2025. It can be a little intimidating knowing the size that we are talking about. Use entities like Taiwan Plus, which have officials from Indian government and Taiwan government. Use TCA, use TITRA. Even if you want only reports on India, use all these platforms to get to know India better. Third, I think we've seen a very excellent example of what we've been able to do in India for Japan and Korea, and we would love to do that for Taiwan, which is that we've created clusters for these countries' companies in India. So all Japanese companies in India are in very specific clusters. There is something very close to Delhi wherein all Japanese companies are together. For us, that's like a mini Japan. We have Japanese restaurants there. There's a lot of golf there, considering the Japanese like golfing. We've done this for Korea as well. There's a place called Greater Noida next to Delhi, which it's almost, if you go out there on a regular day, you'll see more Koreans than Indians. We want to do that for Taiwan in India to be able to make sure that along with ease of doing business in India, you have ease of living in India. You feel the kind of comfort that you're used to in Taiwan, in India as well. Fourth, I would just say, we've been talking about duties. Normally, as a country, we have same duties across all nations. We don't really differentiate between China and Taiwan, but I would want to understand these products. If we can work with somebody, probably with Premjith, to understand specifically what are these products we are talking about. As Taiwan Plus, as in West India, we will take it up with specific government agencies to make sure there is no differentiation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for Prerna, for sharing so much information in such a very short time. And last but not least, I'd like to ask my colleague Premjith to use about 30 seconds to echo and wrap up our roundtable for today. And maybe you can point out some important takeaway for the audience today. Yeah, please, Premjith.
Yeah, thank you, Mila. Since I have only 30 seconds left, like it's always, encouraging to see the enthusiasm among the Taiwan as well as the Indian companies to collaborate, and the current geopolitical situation. And I think it has been rightly understood by the business that you need to diversify your resources at different localities, not just putting everything in one location. So that is something which again pricks those companies to look at having operations in India. And some of the I think the tax related, there is always an option out. And when you mention like problem, I just want to put it like, rather than mentioning it as a problem, these are only mere inconveniences wherein we sit at both sides of the table. We can discuss it and sort it. Like we had the input tax credits which been utilized by some of the Taiwanese companies by the CKD SKD kind of ways. And then there are the much talked about PLI scheme that the government is very receptive in terms of getting suggestions from the industry, and they can work on it. And as Ms. Soni mentioned, like the Invest India and specifically the Taiwan Plus, the TCA in India, the TITRA, everybody, we all, along with the Indian Industry Association, work hand in hand in sorting out the problem being faced by the industries. And finally, also like when these the Taiwan companies look at India as a not just as a market, but I think this can be your gateway to further expanding your business to say Africa, Middle East, or Europe. So that could also be an option that the Taiwan companies could look at in a larger scale. And as Mila mentioned, like TCA has many platforms where we offer hand-holding to the Taiwan companies. So you can always reach out to us, and we hand in hand with Taiwan Plus, Invest India, TITRA, and many other Indian Industry Association, we provide solution for the Taiwanese companies. So wonderful to be part of this, and we further look at hearing inputs from the Taiwan industry. Thank you. Over to you, Mila.
Yeah, thank you so much.